In that occasion, I had opportunity to meet President Ferdinand Marcos on a Christian mission that I was engaged with in supporting and leading in this country.
Thank you, Congressman Pittenger. Now, may we invite everyone to please look at our screens in front.
Sea Lanes Act, ensuring the lawful passage of foreign vessels in our waters while protecting national security.
We acknowledge the arrival of Honorable Ferdinand Martin G. Romualdez, Speaker of the House of Representatives, 19th Congress. May we invite the Honorable Speaker, Speaker Ferdinand Martin G. Romualdez, to his podium for his welcome remarks.
Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, colleagues, and partners, good morning. On behalf of the House of Representatives of the Philippines, it is my distinct honor to welcome you all to the Parliamentary Intelligence Security Forum here in Manila. We gather at a critical moment when in the Pacific, home to 4.7 billion people, or 60% of the global population, and a driving force of global trade and innovation, is both a region where economic dynamism coexists with intensifying strategic competition geopolitical tensions, and non-traditional security threats. These realities demand our collective action and resolve as parliamentarians and lawmakers. Let me begin by framing the context of our discussions. The Indo-Pacific is the world's largest and most dynamic market, housing major economic powerhouses such as China, Japan, India, South Korea, and the member states of the ASEAN. As a collective economic bloc, ASEAN is on track to become the fourth largest economy in the world over the next 5 years. Its strategic importance is reflected in major multilateral frameworks, such as the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, the RCEP, and the Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership, the CPTPP. Yet, despite its economic strengths, the Indo-Pacific remains a theater of intense strategic competition, unresolved disputes, and emergent threats. Today, I will address the opportunities and challenges we face, focusing on 3 key areas. 1, geopolitical stability. 2, economic resilience. 3, technological transformation. The Indo-Pacific is the heart of evolving geopolitical dynamics. It is crucial to emphasize that coastal states, including the Philippines and other claimant states, are sovereign nations with a direct and vested interest in upholding their territorial integrity, sovereign rights, and adherence to international law. For the Philippines, the situation is the West Philippine Sea, which remains a direct and urgent concern. This is not just a matter of territorial integrity, it is a test of the international community's commitment to upholding international law and ensuring freedom of navigation. In 2016, the Philippines secured a historic victory through the arbitral ruling under the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Seas, affirming our sovereign rights within our exclusive economic zone and rejecting expansive claims based on the so-called 9-9. Yet, despite this legal clarity, we continue to face gray zone tactics, coercive actions, illegal fishing, and militarization of artificial islands. Under the leadership of President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr., the Philippines is fortifying its multilateral relations and strengthening partnerships to uphold sovereignty and territorial integrity. The Philippine Congress has supported these initiatives by enacting Republic Act No. 12064, or the Philippine Maritime Zones Act, which legally defines our maritime zones to strengthen our jurisdiction. Republic Act No. 12065, or the Philippine Archipelagic Sea Lanes Act, ensuring the lawful passage of foreign vessels in our waters while protecting national security. The West Philippine Sea issue underscores the importance of preserving a rules-based international order. For smaller nations like the Philippines, this order serves as a safeguard against the arbitrary use of power and ensures that disputes are resolved peacefully through dialogue and diplomacy rather than coercion or intimidation. As parliamentarians, we have shared responsibility to uphold this order by strengthening alliances, reinforcing multilateral institutions, and ensuring compliance with international rulings like the 2016 Arbitral Award. The Indo-Pacific's economic security depends not just on its strategic location, but also on the resilience of its economies and institutions. Persistent inequalities threaten regional stability. Without adequate social protections, 266 million people in Asia could fall into poverty by 2040. Income disparities, access to health care, and economic opportunities remain uneven, especially for marginalized communities. To counter these challenges, we must strengthen multilateral economic frameworks like the RCEP and the CPTPP, ensuring their inclusive and equitable implementation. Prioritize green transitions, sustainable infrastructure, and climate-resistant economies to mitigate climate-related economic risks. Secure global supply chains, particularly in semiconductors, critical minerals, and advanced manufacturing against disruptions caused by geopolitical tensions or natural disasters. Economic resilience is also about protecting our democratic institutions from external influence. Hostile actors continue to employ tactics such as espionage, disinformation, and cyber operations to undermine national sovereignty. To address this, the House of Representatives has introduced House Bill number 11040, or the Counter Foreign Interference Act, which seeks to penalize acts of foreign interference, safeguard critical infrastructure, and reinforce democratic integrity. This legislation aligns with global efforts to protect national security while maintaining open and transparent governance. The Indo-Pacific stands at the forefront of technological innovation, but emerging technologies also pose risks to political stability, economic security, and social trust. The digital divide remains stark, with inequitable access to the digital economy, cybersecurity, data privacy, and artificial intelligence limiting opportunities for many. Our collective challenge is to establish clear regulations and safeguards to protect and to prevent the malicious use of technology, whether through cyber attacks, data breaches, or AI-driven disinformation campaigns. Additionally, technological innovation must be a tool for climate action. The Indo-Pacific, being highly vulnerable to climate change, must invest in green technologies, renewable energy, and sustainable solutions to combat rising temperatures, natural disasters, and environmental degradation. Ladies and gentlemen, the Indo-Pacific's challenges are immense, but so are its opportunities. Our region's diversity is its greatest strength, and through dialogue, cooperation, and decisive action, we can navigate these complex realities together. As parliamentarians, we have a unique role in shaping policies that promote security, prosperity, and resilience. Let us use this forum to share best practices, deepen partnerships, and advocate for forward-looking solutions grounded in shared values. In closing, I urge all of us to recognize the Indo-Pacific not just as a region of competing interests, but as a community of nations bound by shared aspirations of peace, stability, and development. As we have emphasized in previous forums, let us uphold three guiding principles. Number one, deterrence, to defend against security threats and maintain stability. Number two, resilience, to strengthen our institutions and economies. Number three, to uphold sovereignty, the rule of law, and regional cooperation. Together, we can ensure that the Indo-Pacific remains as a beacon of peace, stability, and opportunity for future generations. Maraming salamat. Thank you. Mabuhay.
Thank you, Speaker Romualdez. Next, may we now call to the podium the Honorable Robert Pittenger, Chairperson of the Parliamentary Intelligence Security Forum, for his keynote remarks.
Good morning. Mr. Speaker, we are incredibly indebted to you for your leadership. Our friends have come from throughout the world because of your invitation, because of your vision and understanding the challenges that face each of our countries that we respectfully serve. And so to you, my good friend, thank you. And may we all extend our appreciation for the Speaker for his great leadership. As well, I would like to make reference to Congressman Rodriguez. Thank you, my friend. He attended our previous fora and frankly was the match that lit the fire. Thank you, my friend. Your leadership as well. And friendship means so much to each of us. I would like to thank, please, thank you. I would like to thank some individuals that are remarkable. I made general reference to them last night, but I would like to call out their names today because I have never worked with a team. This is our 27th Global Forum. I've never worked with a team who was so efficient, so thorough, and were so dedicated in accomplishing this mission. So to them, let me say thank you from the Office of the Speaker, the Office of the Secretary General, Reginald Velasco, Deputy Secretary General Romulo Emmanuel Mera, Deputy Secretary General David Amoran, Secretary General Jennifer Bakaran, General Jeanlyn Goseason, Engineer Rene Della Torre, Secretary General Edgardo Pangilan, Secretary General Anabalu Nachura, and Department of Foreign Affairs headed by Secretary Enrique Manalo. May we say thank you to each of them. Mr. Speaker, my first visit to this wonderful country was in 1977, before many of you were born. And in that occasion, I had opportunity to meet President Ferdinand Marcos on a Christian mission that I was engaged with and supporting and leading in this country. And he opened up enormous doors, extended the favor, the hospitality, the thought, kindness of his country in supporting what we were trying to do. And I have found that same spirit to continue with you and through the leadership, through the ambassador, through all in this country. So may I again say thank you for your uncle, for you, and for the ambassador Romualdez, who was with us last night. Tremendous people, very dedicated people. President Trump has a clear vision and understanding for the challenges that face this region of the world, as well as America and throughout the world. And he has not just clarity of understanding, but clarity of purpose to execute and know what needs to be done. You will find a valued friend in President Trump. And I know that he would welcome being here and extending his regards and appreciation, as well as Speaker Mike Johnson of the House of Representatives in the United States Congress. We all understand what happens in this region of the world affects the entire world. We have many challenges in the world today, spawned in large part by the nemesis in this region, China. We are affected in Iran, North Korea, Russia, but each of these threats and challenges we have, much of their commitment, their support, their investment comes from China. You all understand that. And that's why we've come together in this enclave to know what these threats are, how best to mitigate them, and what we can do in our own countries to work together, to collaborate together. This mission began 10 years ago with the sole purpose of providing information so that you could make good decisions. We learned that through the Snowden revelations, that there are many people who didn't understand the oversights related to what we do to manage information sharing and intelligence sharing. And through that, we saw, well, there's many other issues and topics that we need to have a better understanding So, again, my appreciation goes, as I said last night, to the many experts who have come at their own expense to be with you for these 2 days. Thank you. They recognize, as many others have done with them in traveling around the globe with these fora, to provide the necessary information to make good decisions. You know, as a member of Congress, I went on many congressional delegations, and we would meet with presidents and prime ministers and foreign ministers and many people in the leadership of the executive branch, but by and large, we didn't extend the same amount of time with parliamentarians. Yet those are the ones who make the laws in most countries and prioritize the funding. So to that end, they become a critical component. You as parliamentarians become key in our ability to lead and work together and build a stronger collaboration. As we consider these threats, as we consider what can be done to mitigate the threats, let us focus with clear heads and minds and collaborate and work together in this dialogue so that we can be better prepared to address the challenges of the future. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you, Congressman Pittenger. Now, may we invite everyone to please look at our screens in front to hear the video message of Senator Bill Cassidy of the United States Senate.
Congressman Pittenger, esteemed and distinguished guests, I'm pleased to address the Parliamentary Intelligence Security Forum once more. I'm sorry I can't be with you today. President Trump taking office has created a lot of work that has to be done as quickly as possible here in Washington. But your leadership in preserving democracy and the rule of law in the Indo-Pacific is vital. In Congress, I'm a partner in the fight against corruption and the transnational criminal organizations and cartels that thrive on corruption. Many of these criminal organizations are funded by and have deep ties to the Chinese Communist Party. I cannot but note that this conference is taking place in Manila, a city and a country where China's encroachment is an ever-growing threat. The geopolitical importance of the Philippines to both the freedom-loving world and to the Chinese Communist Party is quite evident. If, God forbid, let us pray not, but if ever there were a war with China, the Philippines would be in the middle. One of the main reasons we are at odds with China is because they do not respect international rules, principles, or norms. The values that every freedom-loving people in society accept, they disregard. They view our values as a barrier the state must flatten, not as the bedrock of a strong nation. This is evident in their use of what has been called geostrategic corruption, designed to plunge the world into chaos. To paraphrase Eduardo Gamara of Florida International University, geostrategic corruption is characterized by external countries using corrupt methods to become stakeholders in multiple facets of the politics, economy, and society of another country. Now, my office works a lot in Latin American issues, and this is very much a reality for that region. People often talk about corruption, and certainly the United States is not immune to that. Recently, we had a senator sentenced to 11 years in prison on corruption charges. Yet, he said of Latin America that, quote, corruption is a cancer that has long infected the Latin American region, robbing citizens of their opportunities, their safety, and their future. It is not enough to simply denounce corruption. We must take concrete action to punish those who engage in it and ensure that governments and institutions are held to the highest standards of transparency and accountability. It may be easy for someone at first to justify their actions, especially when pushed and pushed, but it is a slippery slope if there are not robust anti-corruption safeguards in place. For example, my staff and I are required annually to take ethics training just to remind us of just what corruption can be. The final reminder usually is, after listing everything we cannot do, that one ought to avoid anything that might appear unethical as well. As public officials whose decisions impact millions, or tens of millions, or hundreds of millions of people, We must avoid even the appearance of corruption if we are to maintain the trust of our people. That is, because we hold these positions of public trust. And with that comes a responsibility to preserve that trust in our governments and our institutions. Now, it can be difficult. Maybe some of you are from countries where parliamentarians don't make a lot of money, or you're suddenly faced with an illness or a family problem. But let me emphasize, those are the people the Chinese Communist Party targets. In some cases, the Chinese influence is a willingness to help secure a special project, or to influence over critical infrastructure in exchange for a price. But there is a nexus of security, integrity, and anti-corruption efforts. We who serve our respective nations must be held to a higher standard. Everyone here understands what rampant corruption does to a country. Like the quote I gave earlier, corruption is like a cancer. So I urge you here and now, for the good of a world at war, which is looking down the long barrel of Chinese communist aggression, let's all live with the courage of our convictions and serve only the interest of the people we were elected to serve. Let us have the resolve to resist the perpetual temptations our enemies place before us, and let us recommit to upholding the rule of law. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your conference.
Thank you, Senator Cassidy.